A lot of people build IPs with passion and with profit in mind. We start with love. Then comes the passion. Then comes the profit. I was happy being an MC. I was a MC on stage, I was making lots of money. But the events were not good. I said, ये events की business को professionalize कैसे करेंगे? Let me bring all the learning I have from advertising, from theatre and all of this, bring it together, present this. I'm also producing a series for Amazon at the moment, as in it's currently in writing stage. So it's been semi-commissioned, which is another venture of mine. So I think this is the decade of creating content. Internationally, when you travel, trust me, people have done it for so long, they give each other space. If a girl wants to hang and have some space, she'll get it. If there's a pregnant lady, she will get space. Nobody will smoke. Nobody will. I mean, one person out of somewhere will try and do something on a corner, but it'll be one person. Here, I think concert culture needs to emerge. Organizers need to know that infrastructure is core to an experience. Why do I do my show at, Geo World Garden? Because the joke we have internally is that if you even dropped food on the bathroom floor, you could eat it because it's so clean. Right? There is enough parking for everyone. Nobody's running around to say, "Meri gaadi kahan hai? Kab niklegi? 3 ghante lag jayenge." No. That infrastructure thinking, I don't think we built early. India built a couple of sports stadiums which are used for events. The sports people don't like it being used for events. The events people don't like to use the place because it's not event friendly. We have to construct everything. Now there is a new wave of event infrastructure that is coming. Bangalore has a great venue that has come up already, which is being done right now. There's another Bangalore structure which is being built by Om Pradyut along with, if I'm not mistaken, the Embassy Group and Live Nation. That's going to be a plug-and-play venue for 80,000 people, 10,000 people in a smaller venue. NMACC has built at least a custom auditorium for 2,000 people for a musical. Right? Where else can you do a musical? When I did Aladdin in 2018, we couldn't do it beyond Delhi and Bombay because no other place in India has enough flybars to bring sets down. Can you imagine? So we're not built for that. I think also see, for the longest time, most Indian festivals happen in the open. Diwali, Holi, Garba, सब कुछ open में होता था ना. तो nobody needed कि क्यों चाहिए seating? Why do you need light sound? Ahuja ka speaker to lage jayega. But we have moved beyond. Today, when we are hosting Ed Sheeran, Coldplay, Dua Lipa, Diljit Dosanjh, Karan Aujla, name it. All of these people want to give the audience an international experience. So we will need to move up our infrastructure. Otherwise, we are at least 20 years behind. Trust me. And people will hate me for saying this, but it is true. You must know what you're good at and you must know what you're bad at. We are now going into this overdrive. हम अगले साल में हर इंसान का कॉन्सर्ट कर देंगे जब तक ऑडियंस थक नहीं जाएगी कॉन्सर्ट देखने. And then people will stop going. So be judicious in your planning. Think these things through. People are getting cricket fatigue because you watch cricket. कितना देखोगे? एक point तो आएगा that you don't want, right? People started getting Bollywood fatigue. So we need to plan our experiences better. We need to work on better infrastructure. Ticketing is great right now. So ticketing has improved a lot right now because of the people like District and Book My Show, etc., which is there. There are some great providers of light, sound, set, stage in India. But that number needs to multiply. We need more professionals. We need more infrastructure. We actually need a lot more. See, every couple of years, a word आता है which marketing teams love. 5 years ago, the word was storytelling. We are storytellers. What kind of stories? Who's your audience? Who are the people? Similarly, the new word, in fact, I just read an article day before, it said community is the word. मर गया भाई. हर इंसान community बना. But communities are built around passion points. Communities are built around shared values. Very often, a brand will come and say, you know what? I want to sell more cars. You won't have a car community. No, you have a community that loves exploring driving. You have a community that loves speed. You have a community that loves environmentally safe travel. These are all different communities. So you must figure out what is the passion point where the brand and people intersect, right? And at that point, tell the brand, move back. Because for a while, Today, your generation smells bullshit from a mile. Right? The minute an influencer says, "मैंने try करा," you're like, "Is really try करा?" Like, right? The minute you see a tag of a brand, you're like, "Boss, I don't want to see this." Right? The bullshit meter is very high. Communities need to be true to their core, to their essence. We are a community of storytellers. If we stop telling great stories, we're dead. If we stop being honest, we're dead. If we stop being authentic, we're dead. So we will not change these things. So sometimes, somebody will want to pay us lots of money saying, "आप ना ऐसा कर दो स्टेज पर." नहीं करें, नहीं कर सकते. करा मर जाए. Communities after a period of time end up becoming self-run. So like how our city chapters, they're run by a volunteer. A kid sitting in that city who takes time off from work and goes in the evening and conducts a poetry event for nothing. If they make any money off the show, we give it to them. We don't keep it. We're like, one of us. If you're becoming an entrepreneur, that's great. But it's important that they do that ownership. It's a long process. It takes 3 to 5 years to build a good community minimum. So do brands have that much money and time to invest? If you expect an instant solution, कल 10 साल लोग आ जाएंगे, सब हो जाएगा. We built a 35,000 community of podcasters for Spotify. It took us 2 years, right? And even after that, they are continuing that work. They took it over and doing it. But they need to do training. They need to do meetups. They need to do awards. They need to do a podcasters day. So you need to find ways and means of celebrating community. There is a secret sauce of building a community, which if anybody wants, they can call us and pay us and we will do it for them. I think it was 2016-17 when I had started watching a channel on YouTube which was called The Moth. And The Moth is a US channel where people do stories. And then from that, I started listening. You know how your algorithm works. I started listening to some slam poetry. I heard Sarah Kay, and a couple of other poets. And that gave me an idea saying that, in India, there was a tradition at one time of people going out and काव्य सम्मेलन होता था, शेरो शायरी की बैठकें होती थी. You would have all of these things, but they weren't happening. And nobody was telling stories of today. Everyone had a lot of stories of yesterday, but what about today? So I started doing this small storytelling. I would go with a camera just like this and a mic and go to a yoga studio, and I would actually go and get friends to come and tell their stories. There was no formal format, so I created a format. So it should be a 5-minute story. It should have this, this, and this. And the strange part was that everybody was very intrigued. A lot of my friends are performers. So they are all very competitive. So they would come and sit and watch and say, "Hey, kaun kar raha hai, kya kar raha hai?" But when they saw the stories emerge, stories of heartbreak, stories of leaving your city, stories of loneliness, stories of love, stories of pets, all of these stories, everybody started feeling, "Yaar, ये तो हमारी कहानी." And the minute we recorded the stories, Kommune was still informal. It was more a division under my company because I said, "कुछ मैं बना रहा हूँ, पता नहीं क्या बना." Half the time I don't know मैं क्या बना. So I was like, कुछ अच्छा है पर पता नहीं क्या है. So I had two friends, Ankur Tiwari and Gaurav Kapoor, who both said, "Let's do it." Ankur is a fiercely independent performer. So his whole focus was, let's focus on doing something unique. But let's do something which is independent and true. Gaurav is a digital performer. His whole focus was that I want to do stuff that is going to be digital. So I was okay with both. I said, okay, we will be very true to people, and at the same time, we will do something that can digitally go out. So the smart thing we did was we used to shoot the stories, put them up on social. And I think in the first 6 months, suddenly we had 100,000 followers. And at that time, 2017, 100,000 followers, like, yaar, aaj ka million. I said, yaar, it's bahut acha hai. And then we said that, okay, if we are finding these people and they're so good as performers in intimate spaces, how can we take this joy, this wondrous feeling that people get and bring it to a larger audience? This thing of saying, if I can combine the stories and poems from there into a feeling like Hyde Park, maybe I've got something. And that's when I said, let's go. And the only place in Bombay that gave that feel was Geo Garden. OML was helping us at that time. They were like, no, do it in an auditorium. I said, no, I will not do it in an auditorium because the feeling of freedom, the feeling of space is very important for words to feel special. And that's how Spoken started. Kommune is not a one festival company. Kommune is a performing arts platform. It is to try and find creators and help them be their best version. So essentially, Kommune is a performing arts platform. And we are very open to volunteers. So people write to us from different cities and say, you know what, can we start commune here? And we're like, as long as you follow this guideline, you can. Now, because of that, today we are in 23 cities. Every city has its own culture, its own language, its own identity, its own problems, its own voices. Right? I mean, Gujarati voice is very different from Marathi voice, from Punjabi voice, from Guwahati mein voice, from Shillong mein voice. So our city chapters keep telling us कि क्या हो रहा है. And you can't bring all of these people to Bombay because while we're a very cosmopolitan city, but the primary languages will be Hindi, English, Urdu, Marathi. That's the languages we'll work in. So we said, why can we not take the festival to other cities? So we've done Shillong. It was beautiful because we heard a poet from Bengal, we heard Khasi language mein poetry, English, people telling us about, a crossing which is so famous in Shillong and how this person here sounds there. Like every poem there, it was so beautiful, and we felt we're discovering a new city. And when we play those performances and those videos here, then there are so many people who reach out to us and say, you know what, we want to travel there. So I think Commune is like a cultural exchange program also. Wherever we go, we bring that culture to spoken, and taking spoken to other cities. Like we want to go to Bangalore next. Hopefully at the end of the year we'll be going there. But again, we want to find those kind of places. Like in Shillong, we did it like if you see that venue, it's like next to a lake. A lot of people build IPs with passion and with profit in mind. We start with love. Then comes the passion. Then comes the profit. So that love needs to show through, and wherever we travel, we find that love. So in fact, March onwards, I'm going to travel to 20 cities myself, just because I want to hear stories. I said, no, mujhe kahaniyan sunni. So I need to hear what India is talking. And that's why I think that it's a traveling circus of poetry, stories, art, music. So it should travel everywhere. Hopefully we'll travel the world. I definitely think that Commune is a platform that is universal for artists. What it has, which is Indian to it, I think is one lot of empathy. The second thing is that I think Indian people, when they like something and they want to work on it, हम कुछ भी जुगाड़ लेते हैं. So I think if you bring the little bit of the jugaad and little bit of this josh together, definitely we can create unique things. The thing is, we have today a chapter in Vienna. We have a London chapter opening now. How? Because somebody wrote to us saying we want to open. Right? So for me, Commune is a free place. What is Commune? Commune is artists helping artists. Commune is a senior artist teaching a junior artist. Commune is a place where, hey, you want to learn podcasting? We will teach you. We won't cheat you. Trust is such a core, essential part of Commune. Artists trust us, brands trust us. I really want to live that trust up. I've spent 30 years in this business without screwing anyone over. And I've survived. Right? So I keep trying to tell people that goodness ki bhi ek jagah hoti. Right? Now, I'm not trying to be Satyawadi, but it's just that can you do good things? So the internet has given us the democracy to reach anywhere. Right? You can, at my time in college, I needed a huge camera to shoot the films I want to make in MCRC. Today I can do it on a phone, right? Today I don't need a Sennheiser microphone with X attachment and this and that and whatever. It's all here. So technology has got access. All that you need then is to create things that people want to come to, which is what we try to do. So I think Commune will grow internationally. I think in phase 3, I think we're in phase 2, which is our India phase. Phase 3 will be our international. India has largely been a Bollywood and music central culture. But when JLF came, it suddenly brought literature to the fore. When Rekhta came, it brought Urdu literature to the fore. Spoken Fest as a festival is a festival of words. But words can have any form. It could be poetry, it could be great lyrics, it could be great stories, it can be great conversations, but words are important. A lot of festivals are for you to tune out, our festival is for you to tune in. I keep saying that our festival is a lean-in experience. Many festivals are lean-back experiences. So you need to understand, many people don't think about the ethos of what they're creating. We have a very strong central ethos. We are about the mindful Gen Z and the millennial, right? जिसको माइंडलेस चीजें करनी है उसके बाद 100 चीजें करने के लिए वो जाके उसको अपना आईपीएल देखना जो करे बहुत एंजॉय करेगा वो. हमारे यहाँ थोड़ा सा आपको कॉन्शियस होकर आना पड़ता है. So I think what we're doing is we're adding a certain amount of consciousness to India's cultural fabric. Plus, last year I remember Swanand Kirkire was standing next to me, and I think there was Varun Grover or Gajraj was next to it, Gajraj Rao. And they said, ये एक स्टेज है जहाँ पर कुछ भी हो सकता है. It's one of the rare stages left where anything is possible. And I think that possibility is the possibility of young people, right? Were there reels before you guys came? No. Were there memes? No. Was there GIFs? No. You've created your own language. So our stage is a stage to represent you and the past. If you look at the three stages of spoken, there's Mehfil, which is the main stage. There's Virasat, which is all about classical arts, but mostly we look at young performers. Somebody who's young and performing something old is unique. There is a lot of freshness, new formats, and a lot of brave energy that we bring out. If you hear Gulzar Saab or Javed Akhtar or any of these people, what do they say? They say कि यार वक्त ऐसा है कि लिखना पड़ेगा, बोलना पड़ेगा, and that's what spoken is about. The artist in me is a pure artist, right? When I write poetry or when I write a story, then that's the pure artist in me. Even when I've written plays, I've not written them with a commercial attitude or whatever. I've not even written it knowing कि किस form में बाहर जाएगा. जाएगा जाएगा नहीं जाएगा नहीं जाएगा. Artists keep creating. हमारा अंदर से creativity होती है. Artists also stay very pure to what they have learned. Money is not important. The minute you become a creator, you create for a medium, right? I'm a creator for Instagram. I'm a creator for YouTube. I was a creator for radio. I was a creator for television. I was a creator for stage. Every medium has different ways of treating it. So that's when the core artist in you then needs technique, then needs learning. See, I learned radio professionally. I learned television. I was lucky that I went to mass comm. So when I was on, like while I'm on this side of the camera, I can tell you what you're doing on that side of the camera because I've done it myself, right? I know that sound is going to affect me because I've done sound design. So the artist to become a creator must learn, master various techniques, must know the medium. I started doing reels on Instagram a year ago. Why did I do it? Because I said, I can be relevant to this generation, but I need to understand ये reel का game क्या है. Okay, must be under a minute, must attract attention, must have a good hook. I started doing all of that. I exploded. I went to the numbers. I'm very happy. From 20,000, I reached 3.5 lakhs. I'm like, yeah, this is fabulous. But it's just a point to prove. Can I create for this medium? The entrepreneur is building businesses. The entrepreneur is solving for need gaps. So when I set up an event agency, why did I set it up? I was happy being an MC. I was an MC on stage, I was making lots of money. But the events were not good. I said, ये events की business को professionalize कैसे करेंगे? Let me bring all the learning I have from advertising, from theatre and all of this, bring it together, present this. And that's how Encompass was born. When 2011 I invested in Glitch, I said, you know what, the next big thing is digital. Rohit and Varun know what digital is. They were very smart. All they needed was somebody who knew business more. That's the entrepreneur in me. Kommune sometimes falls between the creator in me and the artist and the entrepreneur in me, which is why sometimes I don't think of it as a business. But sometimes I do. So it's very different roles. It requires you to switch very quickly between creativity and commerce, right? Between organization and people. Can you do this yourself or do you need people to do this? So I'm great at building teams. And normally I identify talent very quickly. I train talent very quickly. And one of my oldest rules I used to tell people is saying, if you want to build new companies, find your own replacement. I've always found my replacement, right? So when I set up Encompass, I had about 4 people who could replace me. Then I could set up something else. Then I could make a film. Then I could do other things. So I switch these hats very easily. When I'm becoming more of an entrepreneur than an artist, I have friends who hold me back. So Ankur holds me back. मैं कभी बार जब सेलू में आ जाता हूँ सेल करना शुरू कर देता हूँ कि यार ये भी कर देते हैं. But he will make sure that my conscience is clear, right? And that's what you need. You need friends who hold you. Tess Joseph, who's our chief curator. I mean, Tess मुझसे कितना लड़ती है. Why this person? Why is this person on stage? Why are we giving? And I'm like, yeah, it's a great person. No, what's their piece? So you need people. Artists need people who will keep them honest. Creators need people who will teach them how to do things on new platforms. Entrepreneurs need teams and understanding of commerce to build businesses. So all of them are different skills. I wear the hat very quickly and I keep changing it. But I love being the artist the most. So I've been writing a book. I wrote one non-fiction book earlier called Speechless, but now I'm writing a fiction book. मुझे जो पूरी creativity से blast है वो सब तो निकलने लगी. It's a fiction book that I want to make into a film. I'm also producing a series for Amazon at the moment, as in it's currently in writing stage, so it's been semi-commissioned, which is another venture of mine. So I think this is the decade of creating content. I'm dying to get back on stage, but I don't know in what form. As a director, I think more as a director and a creator, not as an actor, because I did Monsoon Wedding some time back, which was very good, but I need to figure out this. So that's what I'm currently working towards. So really, I believe that this is my decade of doing some mad creative things. Mostly, I want to do some of them internationally. I think the artist in me and the creator in me is taking over above the entrepreneur in me for a while. So you'll see the book for sure. You'll see a series for sure. You'll see a film in 2 years for sure.